Hello everybody, for everyone's favorite podcast about an obscure 2000s Fox X-Files clone. For this is the last, I'm your host, Salvatore. Who are you? My co-host?
I'm Ludovico. I'm also here today for the last episode.
Yeah, today...
It's very exciting.
Yeah, today we're gonna do in this great holiday of almost Christmas. We're gonna finish this with the last episode of Freaklings. It's the Freaklings podcast Desert Square, the Christmas edition.
Actually, when this comes out, it's gonna be like New Year.
New Year's edition, yeah.
It is totally New Year's edition.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about all the years. Let's go.
We're actually not gonna talk about this year at all. We're gonna talk about the show from 2000.
So not Christmas also. This is not a Christmas special. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a full schedule. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Get really deep into this examination, and we're gonna start with the website, and that's also gonna be like a large chunk of this episode.
So yeah. So we have mentioned this before. Freaklings. The big thing with Freaklings and the whole thing with the Blair Witch aspect of it was it had a website. It had this website. It was like just set in so as if it was like just the Freaklings blog, like Derek's blog.
And I think the term that came up around that time that was used was like mixed media.
Yeah, this is like mixed media, which has like an interesting history. Like in the 90s, like mixed media used to be like there was this movie, and then it gets like a CD-ROM game that is vaguely related to it.
Blair Witch is also kind of that, I guess.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say Blair Witch like made that a bit more professional, I guess. And there's the whole aspect of like here's the metafiction of it, because I think Blair Witch had a thing where like they had put like some ads saying the cats died, like Cannibal Holocaust style.
Yeah, right.
This time they did not go to court about it.
I think the first like mainstream appliance then of mixed media like was the Matrix trilogy.
Yeah.
Where like part of the story of the movies happened in the game, and then there was also an anime that also like had more lore, and then I guess there was the MMO which had certain things of the plot that you could only find out there.
Which now connects to Matrix 4.
Which brings me to a point with the site before we even get much into the content itself. And this is gonna be the great schism of like Freaklings fans. This is like gonna be the Orthodox and the Catholic Church, basically what's happening in this second.
Wow.
So I think the Freaklings site is apocryphal. It's not by the same author. It's very obvious that there's different authors for the episode, and there was some kind of lore cohesion between the site and the episodes. But also the episodes, the site started 2 years before the show. And it's very clear that the show was in pre-production at that point. Like, there wasn't a lot that they had actually figured out. So at the start, I read through the whole thing. There's a diary there. And that's part of the mixed reality, the diary section. And there's a lot of stuff. I'm going to have a mini segment about it. There's a lot of stuff in the early diaries that actively is not in the show.
Yeah, like...
that gets just written out at some point. And so it's very hard to like put them into one coherent world, even though it's definitely meant to be the same setting with the same characters in the same world. But yeah, that's part of the mixed reality thing. It's hard to do good, and this isn't the greatest example.
Yeah, I guess to give it like a very like pop culture example, this is like FMA 2003 and FMA Brotherhood.
Yeah, this is kind of that. Yeah, it tells the same story, but also it goes on tangents and changes some things about characters and stuff.
Yeah,
Because like the website Derek is not the same character than the show Derek. Because the show Derek was cast and probably written like a year or a year and a half after whatever person wrote this started writing.
Yeah, that's an interesting aspect. This is like very like pre-production Freaklings, where like it feels like a very rough idea what the characters would even be, and it's very interesting because like what you can notice when the show actually starts, the blog barely mentions the show itself.
It mentions the show, but then it basically tries to like imply that this is in his world. There's also a show on Fox, but it's called something else. It's called here's my note. No, I didn't I write it down? It's called something very similar than Freaky Links. Like so much of this show that has similar names to Freaky Links, like Creepy Clicks. But yeah, it's actually a show about hackers and like guns. In his world, his version of Freaky Links. And I don't know if that was like a point of something that the writer of the blog basically made up to like because people were asking about the show. It's basically that. It's basically an excuse to say no, there is no Freaky Links in this world.
Yeah, this is like the show itself is like normally Evangelion. Freaklings is the blog is end of Evangelion.
Yeah, it basically is.
Yeah, honestly, it is.
It basically is because of the ending. Holy shit.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, let's just give the listeners a quick like summary of the structure here. So that's a blog that started in like 1998, so like 2-3 years before the show aired, and it's basically it's dated. Every entry is dated, so you know when they came out, and it's like short blog posts, like a diary entry, and they basically tell the story of Derek and how he met Lan and his road trips. And some of his relationships, and it introduces elements from stuff that is later in the show, bit by bit.
Yeah.
And it basically continued after the show ended for like another 9 months or something. So,
yeah.
And like we said, it's probably written by somebody else than most of the episode. I don't think this was a TV writer.
Yeah, I don't think it was. Just how the characters are portrayed is very weird. Like, I guess... Do we
want to get into it? Do we really want to get into it? Because that's my mini segment. Is the weird parallel universe versions of these characters and the things that are completely different about them, or that we never knew.
Okay, how do you want to... Do you want to talk about the rest of the site? Or like, how do you want to do this?
I can do this mini segment and then we continue... continue talking about the site.
I think it's important to just get, because the blog is the most important thing. So
because that's where all the lore is, and that's why the people are here, Alice. They're here for the Freaky Links lore, not the jokes, not the analysis. They want the lore.
Yeah, not because the people listen to this podcast are friends of us who is just begged to listen to this thing.
Thank you for listening to this.
Thank you for listening. I'm finally doing that thing like moms do, where they get their kids to like wear the sweaters they make.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with Jason because with Derek, because I really have to blast through this. There's a lot here because he's the person writing, so there's the most here.
Yeah, before I go, I just want to say this takes a lot. It took me 3 days to read all of this.
Yeah, I had to read it in two batches too. It's so much, and I basically only scanned it for interesting shit. I didn't actually analyze all of it because if I really wanted to make like a complete analysis and talk about every single thing, we would be here forever.
No, that's what
like this is a book. This is basically a small book in text, especially if you add the Creepopedia or Freakopedia entries.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Derek worked at Domino's once. Has a sister and a mother we never see.
So a dog.
Yeah, we're getting to that. Writes hurdy-gurdy at the end of his diary entries. Has or had a dog named Mr. Crowley. And that's the question here, because I think around sometime before the show starts, they write the dog out. But I don't think they even mention what happened to the dog. They just stop mentioning the dog.
Quick thing, because I just want to say, when I saw the dog and I talked about, and we mentioned how Freakalinks is very like Scooby-Doo. Do you think they put the dog because they were gonna make this like directly a Scooby-Doo type thing in terms of the theme?
I mean, there is a diary entry where Derek compares every member of the team to Scooby-Doo characters.
Yeah.
So you could be very close. Like I don't know how involved that person writing the blog was in the show, but maybe he knew some of the ideas like the other writers were thinking about.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was a lore Bible. That's like the issue here. If there was a lore Bible, there would be less problems like this, like all these inconsistencies.
Like, not to get, because we do have to explain, but just want to mention, most TV shows, at least with like most prestige, TV shows, we think it's not prestige, but like, from what I understand, to get your show like green light on American TV, at least in the 2000s, you had to send at least like, vaguely what seems like a lore Bible, you have to explain the characters or anything. So at least there must have been like something.
Yeah, I imagine it's like 1-2 pages, like a summary of every character and the basic plot.
Yeah, okay.
T.S. Eliot, The Wasteland, is his favorite poem. Okay, that's very weird. His website was originally called Monster Freaks.
God, that name weeds with today.
That's so 90s. And yeah, this aged in a very peculiar way. Dressed up as Tweedledum and Tweedledee with his brother. Addicted to cranberry sauce as a kid. Stopped smoking in 1999. Really into KM/FDM.
Makes sense.
And he gets into EverQuest, I think, after the events of the show. But I'm not joking. And there's a link to EverQuest there, so yes. I think it was some kind of promotion.
Yes, I saw that. And I was like, did they make a promotion of EverQuest after the show ended? What the fuck?
It's so weird. Okay, this is Derek's stuff. And I'm not getting into the ending because we're going to talk about the ending of the blog, I think, later.
Yeah, later.
Then we have... I think Chloe basically doesn't get anything until the show starts in the diary. So I don't have any deep lore about Chloe. So who do you want, Lan or Jason? It's very short, both.
Let's go to first Lan, because I guess it's the first cat Derek meets in the blog.
No, he already knows Jason.
Yeah. I meant that, because Jason's already his friend. So let's go to Lan.
Okay. So Lan had a hip surgery at some point. Has a friend in Budapest who delivers some intel for the site. And here is the real twist. Was probably meant to be cast as Vietnamese by a Vietnamese woman. Because there's a mention of her teaching Derek how to cuss in Vietnamese in the diary entries. And so I assume that in an earlier draft of the show, she was meant to be like an Asian woman. And then later, maybe they couldn't cast an Asian woman or they didn't find one, and then they cast a black woman.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no mention of her of her ethnicity, but there is the speaking Vietnamese thing.
Is that like a weird thing of like, because in like tech-savvy characters in the 2000s and early 90s had this thing of like, this character is so intelligent that they know another country's language, even though they're not.
Yeah, but that would be like Chinese, Japanese, any of like big languages, like not Vietnamese, which is like not a language that you like use if you wanna like be online and a hacker. Like it would be very weird. I thought about it from that angle too for a moment, but it makes no sense. Like the whole learning how to cuss. That's like the stereotype, like what you do when you have a friend with a different ethnicity. Yeah. Like you learn their way to swear. So the implication is that she's Vietnamese in this early version. At least that's how I'm reading it. Like I said, it's open to interpretation.
Yeah, we kind of don't, like you mentioned, it's kind of hard to notice what the heck is happening in this because it's just a blog. It doesn't...
Yeah. And a lot of it is really just inner promotions or little mini stories about freaky stuff.
Which normally don't even have an ending.
Yeah, they're more like reports. Okay, that's all for Lan. So we have Jason, and Jason is also very short. Jason likes things he can eat.
Wow.
That gets mentioned multiple times.
Wow, who likes things that he can eat?
Yes.
Wow, fucked up.
Yeah, it's such a good characteristic for a character. It's so interesting. But then later in the blog, he suddenly has a rugged mountain man face, where he starts getting into flannel and growing a beard. And then he goes camping with Derek. He becomes like an outdoorsman, and nothing of that ever happens in the show. Right?
I don't think that really, because like
Jason never does anything outdoorsy or says he likes the outdoors, I think.
Like, correct me, but like in the dinosaur episode, they're like outdoors for a bit, and Jason doesn't say anything, but wow, I love hunting like weird dinosaurs in the outdoors. And there's like a couple.
He never wears flannel. He never wears flannel in that show. I would have noticed that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I can remember. There's like a couple episodes where like it's a lot of it is in the woods, and Jason's never like here's the outdoorsy, like folksy.
Yeah, he never tells you where which way the moss grows on the tree and how you find like your way home that way.
Yeah.
No, that's just completely in the blog. That's why it's like End of Eva. No, it's actually more like the rebuild quadrilogy. Because like some characters are just completely different.
Yeah.
Okay, there's three more things, and they're about the show more broadly and the site.
Did you not mention? Maybe I heard it. Did you not mention that Jason is a truck driver, or like logistics driver?
Wait, is he a truck driver? I didn't get that part.
No, there's a bunch of parts where they mention that he apparently is like a logistics person.
That's weird.
Wow, you are logistics expert. I did not notice that.
Isn't that another character they mentioned at the start?
No, that's Jason. I'm pretty sure they mentioned that Jason has like a logistics arbor.
There's another character that goes with him on a trek where they deliver a big head that the head catches fire.
No, I'm pretty sure that's Jason. Maybe I'm wrong, but I could
No,
swear.
that's another character, I'm sure. I read it yesterday.
I could swear they mentioned that he's a logistic person and has a arbor.
Okay, that's another thing for the fans to really dig into. Like the scholars. Like they gotta check the text, and then there's gonna be like theories and counter theories.
I'll just say this because to mention the story, not to delay this because it's gonna be a long podcast. But since you are our logistic expert, how those Jason went in terms of fictional those realistic characters.
Okay, if we assume the character that was definitely another character was Jason, I would say he's bad at it because the head catches fire. And that's a bad job. In that story, they don't deliver the head because it catches fire before they can deliver it. So I would say 0 out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry.
Wow.
Okay. So the Thunderbird picture is like a meme in the blog, and it starts very early.
Yeah.
Like they mentioned the Thunderbird picture all the way in 1998, and it's like part of the story of the site. It gets like examined by the viewers, and that's another thing. Like how much of the like site viewer of the like site visitor participation is real and how much is like also constructed. That's where this mixed reality thing starts getting really complicated. Mm-hmm. Because some of it looks legit like stuff that Vince would have like sent him, and other stuff is like obviously manufactured. So that's actually a pretty clever part, but I digress.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that ties into other parts of the site, because there's some real stuff and then there's too many fake stuff.
Yeah. And in this version of the world, Creepy Clicks, their opponent site is run by Mollberg. So they're basically conflating two of the Freaky Links villains into one here. Later, the site is run by someone else, even in the blog. So this gets rewritten as far as I know. I'm sure there's like plenty more. I really just scanned it for weird shit.
Yeah.
We could get into so much more, like how the blog writer definitely has some kind of weird hang for old school Las Vegas music and stuff. And it somehow goes into the writing of Derek, which is a skater who listens to KMFDM.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, he really loses the plot at some point, I think, the writer. He really, like, got a bit lost.
Yeah, I love that bit because I think I'm mentioning that I guess it's a thing in the cell, but it's more amplified. They really go more, especially in the early parts, they really go more into Derek being a skater and doing skating stuff.
Yeah, that's like one of the saddest things about the site is that there are videos of the actor who plays Derek skating, and we can't access them, I think.
Yeah,
and it's like the saddest thing, I think. This is like the true tragedy. This is like when we lost all those movies in the black and white era. It's the same shit.
No, this is the library of Alexandria. We lost the library of Freaky Links.
Yeah, this were some real artifacts, and they're gone. There's a PNG, like you can see a JPEG of like I think the actor doing a kickflip, Ethan Embry doing a kickflip. So yeah, that's all I got for my mini section here. So you can continue.
I guess how do you want to go by like how this thing is set up basically? In terms of like how the site is, the other sections of the site.
You can go into that because I mostly focus on the diary.
Oh no, I'm just saying, do you want me to go about that to explain that?
Yeah. Explain what the other things are.
So first tying in first with the other part of the diary, you have the Freakopedia, which is basically all the monsters they mention.
Yeah. And this really, there's a lot of stuff there that's just part of the blog entries. So I guess they paid somebody to write the blog entries and then write connected Freakopedia entries.
Yes, most of those are not mentioned in the show itself. They're mostly just like weird, bizarre, like short horror stories, basically. Or like, here's the freaky thing.
Yeah, they're basically SCP entries in 2000.
They're not good, most of them.
They're not good SCP entries. They're very bad ones. They're like the bad ones from later.
Wow. Not a big fan of new SCP.
I'm sure there's some really good ones and like some really fun ones. But like Freaky Links, it got too steeped in the lore.
Wow, steeped in the lore.
But let's move on. The Freakopedia, it's like Wikipedia if it was about like cryptid shit, basically.
Yes. So you basically have what they do is they tie it to various like themes. So you have one for the occult, one for certain cities, I think, one for cryptos, etc., etc., etc. It's basically just a collection of short stories. I think some of them are kind of interesting because when they do like the Thunderbird or another one, they add extra lore, which is bizarre.
Which I think is connected to that the Thunderbird lore was written in 1998. Yes. Because that's one of the oldest entries in the site. So I assume it was written to a point where they didn't even know if they would have an episode about a Thunderbird.
Yes, but there's a more people entry in the Filipino side of Empire.
Yeah, and they are actually written about the episodes, I think.
Yeah. I guess we're not going to get into specific because there's so many of them and they're not good. I just want to mention two. I'm going to mention two, which is first the one because I'm going to ask our local expert on Swiss folklore. Have you read the
Tatzelwurm?
So is this a thing at all?
I think it's just an old German name for like a dragon, a drake. Yes. Like a small dragon, or a Tatzelwurm is basically a dragon with legs, with leggies. Because there's another one. There's the Lindwurm. That's a dragon without legs. It's basically just a worm with wings. So yeah, now you all know about German dragon lore.
Have you read eventually? It doesn't seem anything. Just long quit, so nothing more.
Yeah, just overflew it. It's basically very similar to European dragon myths that they're like hanging out in mountains and then they come fuck you up.
Yeah, I think I think it's kind of interesting that they mostly like most of the blog is in America, but they sometimes like do stories about here's one about the Japanese squids or here's one about where to go to Mexico and they'll all.
Yeah.
Very 2000s.
They're also often tied into the blog posts. Like either it's the correspondent from Budapest who like gets stories from Europe, or Derek drives over to another state, or flies to Puerto Rico at some point. Yeah. To get those stories.
Yeah. Second one that I want to mention because the blog post about the Filipino side of Empire. So this one is interesting because it takes the tone of like, it takes a weird like academic tone when it's in the lens of like, here's the academia you have about the Filipino side of Empire. And I sent this to Alo, our guest during the Filipino side of Empire, Filipino. And it was very funny because there's a part in the blog post that they said, where it basically says, because it goes asked to the history of the Philippines, so like Spain, Magellan, the American occupation. And there's a part of like where they go, where in the blog post it's basically like, the Westerners tried to colonize the Philippines, but they survived. And I remember like when Aro saw that part, he was like, maybe you were undervaluing a bit this. Maybe you're undervaluing this colonization attempt a bit.
Yeah, that's definitely like, that's something we could get into. Like this site definitely goes places the show didn't go.
Yeah, but so the Filipino Side Empire, they give a name to it, which is like what's the name of it? Let me actually get the name thing. Tatangu? Tatang? I don't know how to pronounce this. I don't think this is Tagalog because I asked Alo if this was anything, and he said maybe. Could not recognize it.
Yeah.
So
But it plays into that mixed media thing because most of the shit is made up, and then there's
yeah,
some stuff that's like inspired by actual cryptozoological things,
yeah, but
which are also made up. But I mean,
yeah.
they're established things, while this is just making up new shit.
Yeah, I do want to mention the last thing that I want to mention about the Shadow Empires, like that laughter. They try to claim this entire blog post tries to claim that it's real because it takes this academic tone, and then they put false sources. I love Alice's reaction to it because the reaction was basically, if this source is real, it's like I don't trust Spanish people's mood. Like they just list like 4 Spanish academics that are probably all fake and say, "See, this is real."
I wonder what Umberto Eco would have thought about the Freaky Links website. Yeah, I'm asking the real questions.
Yeah,
like because he was into that like faking reality thing in his novels. He would like have real sources and like very academic correct things about history, and then have some fake thing inserted there. But if you're not an expert, you're not gonna realize it. So I wonder how he would have liked this, because it's definitely not on the same level, but it's a similar concept.
I do think it's like not to go, like I guess to go into this part before we go to other parts. It's like I do think this is interesting, like the 2000 years of it, because like this is still
yeah, this is so late 90s or 2001 era shit. Damn.
Yeah, because so much of the blog posts is just they feel very Zackass, to be honest, because it's just, look at this thing, we found the thing, fucked up, man. Yeah, we have here the opening theme song to Zackass. Welcome to the podcast.
A cappella version.
But yeah,
I want to talk about this because like I can't keep it back. I have to talk about it.
Yes, talk.
This version of Derek is such a 90s shithead. He's so close to being just Bam Margera. Like it's really bad. I'm glad the show version is less horrible. Because like in this version he rants about like commies and you don't know if it's like ironic or not.
Yeah,
and I think it's because the writer is like some old guy. Like he wouldn't talk about old school Las Vegas and like Frank Sinatra if he wasn't like from I don't know, Martin Scorsese's generation or something.
The 20s. This is a ghost.
Yeah, but like he talks about commies and he's also very anti protecting the environment and very anti PC culture.
Yeah, this is like I said, this has very much like a 9. If you read this blog points, like I said, this is very rough, and I think it's worth pointing out to like the Wikipedia, because like if you look at the stories, there's just kind of nothing. Most SCP stories, like even some of the new ones, are better than this. Most internet horror is better than this. Most fiction is better than this. But at the same time, like if you look at this stories through the lens of like this is from the late 90s, 2000s, you get to feel the trends of like the show like. It feels very much like going even to episode 1, where the show is much more waffle, and I say that even it's like it's politics, because it's so much interesting going fucked up, man. And it's
weird. Yeah, it's so weird. No, it's actually like Whiplash, because there's also a section where he says the government is corrupt. We got to look out for ourselves. And like. The politics of that blog are amazing. Like, it's so fucking weird. There's also a part where he actually like criticized the government for like World War II, how they bombarded Japan, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
It feels very much like this is just like all the 90s. They got to somebody to put all like the 90s aesthetics and like cynicism, and they just put everything. So you have like South Park, so you have Zackass, you have literally everything.
And there's so much like 90s internet culture stuff that just gets referenced because it's a thing. And I wonder if that's what somebody like just commenting on what's going on right now because they have like multiple blog posts about the year 2K bug. They have stuff about chain mails. They have stuff about all these very 90s internet things.
Mhm. Yeah, I do want to mention before we move.
It is a time capsule. So if you wanna like experience a part like of corporate, like small corporate imitation of late 90s internet, it's fascinating.
Yeah, it feels like
look at this site.
You can see like this is the co-opting and like countercults and like 90s alternative culture in this. Very much. And like I want to mention this before we just move to that part, and that's the Wikipedia, but like just to go in the point that I want to mention. I don't know, like there's a thing like I love like faking reality because like in a way reality itself is fake, etc., etc. And like, but there's like a very part of this, like specifically talking about stuff like the Filipino Empire, like even in the Atlantis that had nothing to do with like America and like about the there's a feeling very much of like just exploiting those to create this. I don't know how to mention. Just like it feels like barely iffy. Maybe not racism, but there's some part of this like feels very much like you're actually using like an actual place's actual culture for like.
Oh yeah. There's a very exploitative tinge, and the blog even remarks on it. Like, there's a point where they post some. I think it's like fake gore. And then there's like a blog post debating the reactions to it and stuff. And I think it's all constructed, like the reaction to it and everything. But it's like imitating how early message boards work and stuff.
And you can see that in how like the feels very much modeled after like a lot of like sock and things. You can mention this. I'll mention this when you go to the other part of this. But yeah, moving from the Wikipedia just here's a bunch of like SCP stories. None of them are interesting besides the ones that are tied to the story. I do want to mention some things that I cannot really mention a lot. There's a Freakadancer, which is basically, I think it's like a thing where you can sign up to get like the newest Freaklings things. But now if you
I think that was like a newsletter.
Yeah, that was a newsletter. So you just put like your thing so to get it, but it does not work anymore, and just going to the Internet Archive literally gives me nothing. It just gives me like a sign up thing.
Sadly, in 2021, the Freaky Links newsletter seems to be not alive.
There's also an email that is an actual real email, but I don't think anybody owns it.
Yeah, I think they had probably a contact because they received like stuff. They even had a PO box apparently.
Yeah, I was gonna mention you can send postcards. I don't think that works anymore.
No, and there was a Desert Squid shirt.
Yeah, there's a. I'll mention.
There was a merch. Yeah, there was a merch store for Freaky Links.
I'm gonna mention. So the other big part. There was a merch store, and it's very interesting because. Well, there's another part. There's a merch store, and then there's a part where you can download just like wallpapers. So you can download like biased Freaky Links wallpapers. And then that I don't think work anymore because I got from Windows 94, 95 and like XP. So like
I mean they should be just low resolution pictures nowadays.
Yeah.
If you can get them like open.
I would honestly test them because I can put them on the Internet Archive, but I cannot use wallpapers anymore, so no Freaky Links wallpapers for me. Sadly. Wow. But yeah, there's the Freak Store. And very interestingly, and you can buy some Freak gear.
Yeah, I think that's where the shirts were, I assume.
Okay, let's just go to best first the Freak Store. It's very best where they do a lot of promotion, cross promotion. I'll mention this. They have a part here where they mention the music, like the featured product is the Hate Bombs, was I think one of the first bands that were like in the show. And there's even a blog post where like there goes, I'm friends with somebody from the Hate Bombs.
Yeah, there's multiple mentions of like music that is in the show. Like so that means if the blog was canon to the show, that would mean that the music that plays in the episodes is music from bands that Derek personally knows or likes.
versus diegetic freaklings. That's a very clear. This is how diegetic use of sound and music.
Yeah, it's actually extremely elaborate.
Yeah. Okay, so you can buy the Vita Pod, is the rate one, is like a single album. Then you can get the Ueasy Pod on the Freaklings website.
A Waluigi board?
No, Ueasy, like those things.
Yeah. I was making a joke.
Yeah, you can get one of those because of course you can get one of those.
That's great. I wish that was still an option. I wish anything. If I can get anything, email me. If you have anything from the free, if this is like 20 years from now and you're like a Freaky collector, you're like a month from dying or something, I will buy something for your children or your grandchildren. Like they can get the money.
One question: How old is Amazon? Because you can buy the Ouija board from Amazon.
I think it's like 25 to 30 years. But is it the same Ouija board?
I think it is, but it's not like an Internet Archive link.
I want to have a T-shirt or the Skunk Ape figure.
Okay, yeah. So there's the freak gear part, which is all things like there's the sort that says Monster Freak. There's a freaklinks.com sort that says freaklinks.com.
God, money I would give.
There's it's weird because I think it goes into like what you're talking about. So they have like dollars, like statues of like monsters from the blog, not the show, the blog. There's one for Spring Here Zack, which is like an old like Victorian market that like Dalek mentions occasionally in the blog. There was one for Willie, the Wolverhampton, North Carolina Sea Serpent. One for the Okisby Ogre. And then there's the Freaklings Voodoo doll. Was
you big yikes. Big yikes. This page, this website. What a wonder, what a dream. What a vision.
I'm just so curious why they have more for like the blog. Is this like, I guess this was this was in the blog, right?
Do we want to talk about the ending of the blog?
No, I'm just messing the quick things. I still have like 3 things.
Okay.
Very quickly, I just want to mention this. I'm just going to stay showing the store because there's so many things in the store.
Okay.
Very quickly, as I mentioned, there's a Northboard section that has Santana's Supernatural album.
Okay.
You can buy Santana's classic album, Supernatural, there.
Oh, that's good. I'm sure he's gonna do nothing shady with that money. Like being part of a cult and all.
But yeah, there's like a bunch of like there's book sections where you can get a bunch of like books how to go into Sasquatches.
Nice.
It's like
that's actually kind of rad.
It's like weirdly diegetic because there's parts of like there's also like a skateboard where you can buy skateboards.
Right. They had a deal with some kind of skateboard brand.
Yeah, like it's very bizarre because half of this is like all of this is kind of weirdly diegetic because
they actually. They built their promotions for like their sponsorings into the diegesis of the story. It's kind of wild.
Which is kind of how we talked about the website because this is all diegetic. This is all you can buy all the Freaklings most that's in the most of the Freaklings, and then Derek recommends you other pseudoscience books because the cryptozoology.
This is so inspiring.
There was
this site. You really want to make a Freaklings concept album if you just look at this site for long enough.
Yes.
And like there's a song called Derek's Dream Diary.
Yeah, I do want to mention there's like a bunch of. I'm not gonna mention everything, but then there's the other big thing is the friend of first there's a discussion board which I cannot access. No, I can.
Yeah, that's another great loss.
No, I can
Freaklings scholars.
So here's the thing, I can access one of the discussion boards, but it's just a bunch of like posts already made. It doesn't seem like an actual board, it's just a bunch of posts. Like
I guess that's just the archived version of the...
Yeah.
of the forums.
Yeah, it's just we can find some account posts, but not really nothing.
I would look into that if you're like an expert Freaky Links level 100 scholar. But
there's the last part of the thing that's really important is the Friends of Foe stuff, which I told you some. So Friends of Foe is interesting because they have diegetic stuff. So they have two parts. They have the Fellowship of Freaks and Know the Enemy, which is like the Fellowship is the friends and the enemy is like the enemies of Dalek.
Oh, so right. That's like that's basically a list of links, right?
Yeah, and the links are really weird. Like some of this are like some of this are like incredible for this. So like one of this is Occult Research, which is like the site of Dalek's bottle.
Yeah, some of them are like fake sites made for the show, and some of them are just real conspiracy sites.
Was just like this is really like 2000s because some of this is like just the person that just hacks and just putting a bunch of links to actual conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, it's like that's there's such a list of decisions that were made for this site that I would have not made.
You're like, I just want to mention the most important ones are Occult Research.com, that's Adam's site.
Yeah,
and then there's the one for Gunter, which is like I can't remember actually, but
and the hackers. We can't forget the hackers.
Yeah, the Bahia boys. They hacked the site. The site gets hacked at one point.
It gets hacked multiple times, I think.
Yeah, no, and there's also like creepy clicks.
Yes, which is their opponent site.
So yeah, but most of the sites, when you click on most of the links for the actual source, most of them are there. They just lead to. This is where it goes really part into the multimedia stuff because it goes into things that tell about the Lost. Like Gunter's site tells a bit about like him as like this like weird guy that buys occult stuff. Adam's Water stuff like leads maybe to some stuff about him being dead, etc., etc. But it's mostly just fluff. There's not really anything that's like, wow, freaking Ink's new law discovered.
The thing is, even if it were, the thing is, we're going to talk about with the ending, but it feels so detached from the show in a way. Even in the later stuff, less, but also more. It's weird. It's weird. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah, it feels very like, it's I guess this weird thing about like, this is technically, it's weirdest thing because it's diegetic to the show itself, it feels like its own thing, well I guess it's the failure of this thing, because since it was made so before the show, it's like, it just feels like a different thing to be honest. It doesn't feel like I'm looking at secret freaking stuff.
Yeah, except for like I guess the ending in a way, because that's where like the versions align way more. But at the same time, it's
okay.
It's a missed the whole site is a missed opportunity. It really fails in a couple ways.
Yeah, I guess just to go into there's some the other thing I want to go into Fiction Fails is one of the sites they start out is the Dwellers Report, which is like one of the first like right wing online news media thing. So they're like a form like of right wing media.
That's why I think it was written by some old guy. Like, of course, he would put the Drudge Report in there.
Yeah, there's a bunch of it stuff. Just literally two more things. So there's 20 questions. This is just Derek answering questions, of course, etc., etc., including him saying the FBI to release stuff. I don't know. And then there's the last part. I think is very funny. This is, I guess, goes into like the. They have they also have like two interviews. So one is with Lauren Coleman, which is like an actual cryptozoologist. Apparently one of the biggest like cryptozoologists at the time.
Okay.
And the other is with this guy called Alius, which is this guy's real name. Which is like, so this guy was like, I saw you before this guy, right? The guy that went for president. The cyber hacker guy.
Is it the guy who has all those piercings?
No, it's Alius.
Okay, yeah, I think I remember now, yeah.
So this guy is an actual like cyber hacker, like known cyber hacker who like worked with William Gibson, but in like the 90s and everything in cyberpunk magazines, and he once won for president as a Zoku, and the Freaklings website was there and interviewed him, and it's this weird thing about like the it's kind of weird like the commodification of like cyberpunk and like hardcore aesthetics, because it's this actual real like or less a cyberpunk guy in an interview. But I saw him and it actually links to like his election website because he won for president of America once. So it's interesting though, really interesting if you like 2000s irony humor.
Yeah, it sounds. He's a real internet guy from that era.
A
real Joker type pioneer of the web.
Yeah. This guy's now a libertarian, I think, of course.
Yeah, of course. He was a hacker in the 90s.
But let's we basically set him up the site. Before I want to do a final thing about the site, but let's go to the finale.
So, I don't have a summary written up here, but I guess I'm going to try to summarize a bit of what happens. So the events continue after the last episode, I guess, sometime, with Derek going to meet somebody he met over some clues he found, and then he disappears. And then Jason goes looking for him, and he also disappears. And then Lan is basically left writing the blog, and then she's basically very desperate, and it ends on a very bleak note, like Third Impact.
Yeah, but
with everybody gone except Lan.
Yeah, this is like end of Freaklings, the end. Well, I guess nobody died, so that's something. Nobody died.
Theoretically, we don't know. That's the thing. We don't even know what happened to them.
Like, I guess that's how we're gonna go to the discussion about this. So, do you think this is my original theory when I read this thing was this is like a weird teaser for a second season or something?
Yeah, I think that was the implication, was like building up interest for like a continuation of the story. That's why they talk so much about the main plot before Derek disappears. But now like he has a dream diary and everything. It's like very elaborate.
But now I think the thing is, even if it's not intentional, this is now just end of favor, not joking even. This is now just an alternative ending to Freaklings.
Yeah.
The second season never happened, so now this is just a weird alternative ending. This is like a Freaklings the Bad Wood.
Yeah, this is the bad ending, if this was a video game.
Yeah, this is like the bizarre now bad ending to Freaklings. So, like, I guess I'm gonna ask you. We still have a lot to discuss. We still have even an addendum part. Not going to bed this though, but I do want to mention this. So what do you think about this ending?
I mean, if it would set up the next season, it would have been not the worst setup. Like, we're gonna talk about this later, but I can see where this would go from this ending. Like, I could see where this would start in second season.
Yeah, but if this was like for a second season, we're going more than the speculation part. But if this is for a second season, it's not the worst thing. It's not as good as the last episode, but there's an actual like thematic storyline thing. It's not horrible.
Yeah, it's trying to build up a mystery. It's trying to build up questions. It's basically doing the Who Killed Laura Palmer. It's trying to get people invested by presenting a mystery.
I don't think there's a lot to say, but I do want to say that I do think it's interesting that like Lan is the only one that still remains. Which is fascinating because it does imply they're trying to do something with her.
But it's also like the thing because she's like the character who stays at the base and does the research and all that stuff.
Yes, it's like the original like use of the term, like the gatekeeper of the house, like the defender of the house, I guess.
She's basically the guy in Ghost in the Shell that always does like the communications and the hacking.
Yeah.
I don't know the name anymore.
Ghost in the Shell hacker.
Ghost in the Shell hacker boy. with the beard.
Hacker boy? Like skater boy?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. But yeah, I think this is like, there's also an audio file that I think we should mention.
There's so many things. Yeah, I didn't listen to the audio file.
The other fight is just, I think Lance is basically just crying, like not doing certain things, just being crying, like being sad about everything.
Okay, I thought it was something about like Derek or something.
I think it may be. I don't actually remember. I listened to it and then I forget about it. But yeah, I think this is the most important part of this whole website because, like, I think to like I guess summarize this whole website, it's weird because as like a time capsule of the time, it's endless fascinating. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
there's so much we didn't touch on. Like I recommend everybody like check it out on their own time and
It's still
grab
up. You don't.
around in the
It's like
Wayback Machine.
this is not even. You don't even need to use the Wayback Machine to access the core website. It's like that Spacetime website still up.
Yeah, yeah. For some reason, Haxon never took it up and down.
Yeah,
Just
but
the links and the forums and all that stuff. You have to use the Wayback Machine.
yeah, but I think the like I said, I think it fails just like a marketing team because it's become so different from the show that it has by anything to do with it. They don't even promote the episodes or anything. But
They
like I
do
said,
it. They do it a bit. I read through every single. I scanned every single one, and there's some bits where they talk about it.
yeah. But like I think at the time capsule is very interesting. But I think what makes the site so interesting is the ending
Yeah, that makes it
because
so weird and bizarre. That gives it that end of Eva note.
because it because it's like providing an ending to a thing that never had an ending actually, and it ends in this really dark note for what Freaklings even is.
Yeah, it ends how it began because like Fearsome also has this like very dark tone.
I guess it makes sense because there's this like weird like we mentioned the classy tones, the exploitative angle of this on,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. It's
and
also funny that the site is so exploitative when the last word was like a condemnation of like exploitative media in a way.
I don't think whoever wrote the site actually watched the episodes.
Yeah. Or the vision really changed, and yeah, we know that the TV writers probably had very different ideas.
I do love if the person writing this just did like a cool robot, but like with the last word, like wow, cool satire. I do not know what this is making fun of, but cool satire, cool
Now let me
comedy.
talk to you about why the government's corrupt.
The government's collapsed. I'm defending real hip hop, so I had to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Derek is no, he's defending industrial.
Defending industrial metal.
Okay, so let's move on. We have to
Yeah, we
to
have to move
continue.
on. I think we said everything about the site, right? Yeah, I think we
Yeah,
said.
and like people can go for themselves and search and discover.
But yeah, okay. So after the site, we have an addendum to like it's just a section to things that basically we don't know where to put.
There's stuff we figured out but didn't mention in any other episode.
Yeah, so I think the two most important parts of this is just one really. It's like the episode title of the Skunk Ape episode. It's this guy called Bill R. Norton. I somehow missed this because I don't actually look a lot at the episode directs because I just tend to be just TV people. So he's just like his curriculum is like a bunch of TV shows. He directed some movies actually. He directed something called Cisco Park, which is like about like a musician becoming addicted to drug and working as like and being blackmailed by cops. But the most important thing is he's the son of this guy called William Wallace Norton Jr. And I'm gonna, Lud, I want you to read this part of the Wikipedia page.
He is the son of screenwriter William W. Norton, who was convicted in 1986 of importing arms to Northern Ireland for the IRA and the INLA. So yeah, there we
Yeah,
have
so,
the weapon smuggling connection to Freaky Links.
I'm just gonna post this entire guy's Wikipedia page, not to go into him very deeply, but like, this guy was an actual like like a Hollywood screenwriter guy that did a bunch of like movies with like both worlds and a bunch of like movies that seem like very serious. He was tried in the house of like the actual like house community against un-American activities for being a communist.
And he actually was one.
Yeah, he was a communist, lived in Cuba, apparently became this hallucinant communist, and then got smuggled from Mexico, smuggled himself from Mexico to America again.
Yeah, this guy had a fascinating life. You should look into it if you're like interested in weird people in history.
This is endless
because he sure is one of them. Yeah, he shot a guy in Nicaragua. If you're not enough weirded out by his life.
The other thing I did not mention is I think this is the episode director for the Harvesters. One of the episode directors was this guy named Jeffrey Lively. It was his last wife, but he was the director of 2 movies. First is Schoolies, the classic.
Classic.
The classic movie. Classic.
Something had to explode because of the mention of Schoolies.
Yeah, that was just fireworks. But anyway, and also did Dracula, which was about what if Dracula was into Walker. I watched Walker. It's horrible. It's like a 90s comedy horror movie that tries so much to be hip, and it just has walking Dracula, and it's amazing.
I could go for that. It sounds actually amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, the other thing, the other thing. There's not a lot to mention, but the other thing in the addendum is I want to mention this. So when I did the resource, one thing when I resource fake links is, I went into Google's like Google Books because they actually tend to have they actually surprisingly had a lot of different information about fake links, and you got a lot of actually white information. That's when I found out about the white episode war and everything. But I actually find out when I was doing that resource, I found this book called, I will read this. I'm just going to read this thing. Putting a stop to the occult influences invading our home and community delivers us from evil by Cindy Jacobs. Witchcraft, Pokemon, magic, Harry Potter, paganism, Wicca, psychic, SWAT terrorist, Satanism, black magic, voodoo, Freemasonry, and more.
I love the really late era satanic panic stuff. Because that's when it just started getting really ridiculous. Like, when they were like, all about Harry Potter and Pokemon. Like, yeah, damn. They were really reaching.
So this is like one of those like questions, satanic panic things. But it's like what the only thing that mentions Freaky Link. And it's amazing because this thing has like a whole page about how Freaky Link is demonic. Because of
course it's demonic.
Yeah, you see, the Freaklings website is turning kids into Satanists. Very good. Huh?
Nice. Yeah, it has stuff about occultism in there. So,
I'm just gonna send you this paragraph, not to read anything, but just amazing.
It's basically tailor-made to offend people like that.
I'm just love that somebody subject to you. I know, like this type of monopolic, like right-wing, like fascist questions are like gonna be always this, but it's funny that somebody saw like this freaking site and said, "Oh no, it's gonna turn my kid into Satan."
I think what I like the most is the question: did they realize this was like a promotional website for a show? Or did they just think so? Oh damn, this is like some real. Oh shit, no, these are real reports of witchcraft and demons.
I think they actually thought this was like real.
It's hard to tell. Now we see the real dangers of mixed reality. Maybe the Book of Shadows guy was right after all. Oh yeah, no!
Oh no! It was humanity at the end, the real evil.
What am I fighting for?
But yeah, this is hilarious. I think it's so great that Freaklings was accused of Satanism. It's great because it's literally the most commercial thing ever.
Yeah.
It's lovely. Oh yeah, one more thing for
Yes.
this addendum. We need to talk about the Freaky Links A and B.
Yes. We're gonna add this in the description of the YouTube video, Alice.
Yeah, I'm gonna add it.
You can scroll down if you're listening to this, and you can watch the AMV. It's a very special moment that I think we can all share together.
Yeah, it's Freaky Links Haunted set to. I think it's song called Haunted. I don't know what. Do you know what song this is?
I actually only watched it once, and it's a long time ago, so I don't remember it very well.
But anyway, it's very good. Two Freaky Links had, the two Freaky Links scholar made an A and B set to Freaky Links. It's aesthetic. It's beautiful. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's what every show like Freaky Links deserves.
I think it does talk about like there's this culture thing of like if a thing insists, there's gonna be one person that's just so into it it's gonna make an A and B.
Yeah, it's basically like OCs nowadays. Like in those years, you didn't make an OC except if you were into Sonic. You just made AMVs of your favorite characters.
Yeah, it's very good. Though. Thank you, Freaky Links Heather. Thank you, Angel of Darkness music video. Thank you. From the Saints of Freaky Links, we bless you.
Yes, blessings of Derek upon you, hurdy-gurdy.
Okay, but literally, just want to listen. Why do you think Derek says hurdy-gurdy? I know there's an explanation.
I think he explains it.
Yeah, there's an explanation, but from the whitest mentality.
I think it's just old.
Yeah.
I think it's just old, and he thinks that's how young people talk. They say hurdy-gurdy all the time, right? That's what the kids are into. Hurdy-gurdies.
Hurdy-gurdy. Very good. Okay, let's go to ranking of the episode. This is actually the me too.
For you.
Yeah.
I just made a tier list 5 minutes before we started recording.
Okay.
That's my meat. That's the meat on my side. It's like maybe 2 minutes of content.
Do you want to? Let's go first with Tiara.
Okay. So I ranked from S tier to D tier, my favorite episodes. And now, we don't have to explain this. Like S tier episode has everything I need from Freaky Links. It's everything I ever wanted. And a D tier episode is just bottom tier. It's just like everything I don't want from Freaky Links, basically. So yeah. Should I start with bottom tier or with top tier?
Let's start with the worst. I want to hear your worst takes.
Okay,
worst.
There's only one D tier in this meta, and it's 313. It's the ghost episode. That's everything I don't want from Freaky Links. It's melodramatic. It's not very engaging. It's not very funny. It's just drab. It's just boring.
The extra thing, did they mention this in this episode? That episode is written by the one of the writers for Paranormal Activity 2, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because I wouldn't even watch that.
Yeah.
Now that I know how this will turn out, I wouldn't watch that.
Okay, yeah. So the ghost episode, the first one, the worst episode of Freaky Links.
In my opinion, the one I least enjoyed.
Yeah. Okay.
So then,
what's next?
Then we have the C tier, which is a bit better, but still pretty bad. And that's Me and My Shadow, the Filipino vampire episode, Harbingers, Fearsome, and The Stone Room. All of these episodes were just severely lacking in something. Like, they had their moments, but it wasn't enough to like bring me over and say like, yeah, this is pretty cool. Then we have the B tier, which is those are serviceable episodes that I liked, but weren't like wow over the hill about it. You can win a tournament with these, but you gotta be good. Police Siren, Still I Rise, the hip hop episode. Edith Keeler Must Die. That's the mole people, and Colecantes, the dinosaur episode. Like these were all pretty okay. I like these. Like they're not the worst TV, they're not the best TV. They exist and they're entertain. They will entertain you for the time they're on. Then we have A tier. Now we're getting to the good stuff. It's 2 episodes. It's Skunk Ape and Live Fast Die Young. Like, they're, for very different reasons, they're very enjoyable episodes. Skunk Ape is just very funny, and Live Fast Die Young is very good at tension, and has also some funny bits that contrast the tension well. And then we have S tier, which is the absolute kings, and I mean, that's Desert Squid and The Last Word. Like, those are just, that's the peak of, that's the best of the best in Freaky Links entertainment.
Did you, just to see if I didn't, where did you put Fearsome, the pilot?
Fearsome is C tier.
Okay.
Like, I like the shapeshifter thing, but I don't like the tone too much. Like, of course it establishes the plot and all that, but the tone is just weird.
Okay,
it's not what I want from Freaky Links, I guess.
Yeah, I think this is very interesting. Like, I did not make like a list. I have like a mental list, but I think I'll go there because so I can talk a bit about this. I think first, like the bottom, like the worst tier. Huh? Not can just say worst tier. I would the only sense I have. I agree with you about 13 being the worst episode, but I'm gonna put another episode which is Filipino Sailor Vampire.
Understandable.
I think I'm gonna explain it mostly just it's so like let's ignore the racism and everything, like just making up a fake culture master. It's just very melodramatic in a bad way. It's as melodramatic and bad as 13, honestly. And it has like bad character tension. I hate the stuff with Chloe. That's in later episodes, but it's still there and it makes literally no sense.
Yeah, it's now that you say it, I can definitely see why somebody would like put it to D tier. Yeah, very understandable.
So we go from that to the bad but not the worst episodes. Practically all the same. I don't think I disagree with you. I was mentally, when you're talking of mentally, thinking if I should put Still Wise there. No, I think Still Wise is a fine episode. It's not that horrible, honestly.
Yeah, it does some good character building, and the main story is enough weird to get you entertained.
Yeah, I think it's like not that bad. It's entertaining. The hip hop aesthetics are a bit problematic, but not compared to the rest of the time. It's less bad, I guess.
I guess for the state of the art in 2000, this isn't the worst like hip hop episode.
I want to hear you because I'm not gonna put those in the worst because I did the worst. But I just want to hear you about this. Do you think Stone Woman Harvesters, they are incredibly boring, but do you think their incredibly boring makes them so horribly boring, or just bad, but not in specific, like not the ultimate horrible thing?
Harbingers is only not bottom tier because it has the cyber magic, and that's just hilarious.
Yeah, and also the old white guy was hilarious.
Because it's a lore episode that doesn't actually add much. That's what like kind of annoys me, that the show doesn't spend a lot of time with the main plot anyway, and then it brings it up and doesn't really add anything except like explain some backstory of the brother.
Yes.
And yeah, that makes it for me really a failure of an episode.
Yeah, but not horrible, not the most worst thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it still has a cyber magic, which always saves something.
Same thing with Stone Room, we would say, right?
Yeah, it has its moments. Like Stone Room has its moments where it does interesting things, like and getting like Jason a plot and conflict and stuff. That's not bad. Then you have the weird racism stuff. Then you have the. It's just there's stuff lacking there.
Yeah, but
like it's not badly executed. It's just it doesn't have that freaky energy Doesn't have that
Yeah.
freaky energy.
It's not like punched up enough, and it doesn't feel like it's gonna punch you in the face.
Yeah, it's not Desert Squid.
It's not Desert Squid. It's not nothing. I don't.
Like if Stone Room was just an episode of any TV show, it would be very underwhelming TV episode. It's just a ghost in a room.
It's the legal ghost. Excuse me. It's actually just a legal ghost, property rights ghost.
Yeah, it's a property rights ghost. I know it's hard to make. It's hard to make lawyering interesting on like the level of Freaky Links, but I think they could have done a better job.
Yeah, like then we go to the good episodes. I don't think nothing here. Some things I change because some things I change because some of those things are like in like the really good tier. But I would say like the only difference now I think besides switching up some stuff, it's like the first episode, the dinosaur episode, and then mole people.
Okay.
Those are like the good episodes.
Yeah. I guess you
Then,
like Fearsome a bit more than me.
Yeah, I think Fearsome's a good pilot. I think
it's not the worst pilot. It sells the show well. That's true.
Yeah, no. I'll put these 3 episodes in the good tier. First, then we have very good. That for me, very good is Bikers.
Live Fast, Die Young, yeah.
Yeah, but I would put Bikers and let's actually see because I'm just looking safe and
Skunk Ape.
Just put Bikers and the West are like the best of the best.
So Skunk Ape is also at tier.
Yes,
that's nice.
I really like Skunk Ape. Final Word, Desert Squid, and Police Island.
Okay.
Any disagreements here? Or like,
we have some stuff that's like higher or lower, but like overall, I can definitely understand why you would rank them like this.
Yeah, I think I'll just say this. Skunk Ape is incredibly funny and clever. I think it's really does the mist. It has a very nice like red herring of it all, and it ends in like a non-ending like Skunk Ape ends in a non-herring like Desert Squid, like a non-ending joke, and I think it's very clever, honestly.
Yeah, I would love if like every episode would just end like those two.
I wish there was like just some like supernatural show like every episode would just end in like non-comedy endings like this, not like even defeat, just like turns out nobody was the bad guy.
Yeah, or basically befriend the monster.
Yeah, but like I was saying, I think that I really like the stuff Police Siren does. I think it's very clever for, like we mentioned in the episode review. It's very clever. It's surprisingly anti-cop for a Fox 2000s X-Files clone.
Yeah. That's true. That's why I ranked. I should actually correct that. I will put Police Siren up to A tier on my list.
Yeah, I think Police Siren is incredibly clever. I think it's very good. I was surprised. I like the stuff they do with the Bouncy because it takes a myth from another mythology that feels like cultural appropriation. It just feels like using that to fit like into another story very well. Yeah,
it's very clever use.
Yeah, besides the rest of
they made a ghost interesting. Like this is the thing that failed the other 2 times.
Yeah, this was actually the interesting ghost. Wow.
Yeah.
It's not racist or weirdly anti-abortion. Okay, that's like in the West is the West. Final Word, it's Final Word. Incredibly one of the best TV show endings, being a bit hyperbolic, but really good, of course.
Yeah, top tier TV.
Very good, and Desert Squid. Desert Squid is my favorite episode of Freaky Links. Incredibly good TV show, and I'll say this: it's one of the best episodes of TV I've ever seen in my life. in the fourth one.
It was definitely a wild ride. The first time it really takes you on a ride.
I think even a second time, you know everything, you know the twist. It's still incredibly like clever and like you notice the stuff they do and like there's actually like foreshadowing and everything. There's actually like jokes to notice the second time.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's well paced. There's like it's full of things. There's so much going on in that episode.
It's like it's weird because you think it's wait, what is this? Is this Twin Peaks? What the fuck am I watching? This is actually clever and good and funny.
Yeah. This was like the true potential of Freaky Links showing itself.
Yeah, I think of a lot of this. I think we don't have a lot of like nothing here to like we're not gonna argue about anything, right?
No, but I think my sentiment leads us well into our next point.
Yeah.
Speculating or like making up our dream version of the second season of Freaky Links. What did we want from it? What would we have wished for? So, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. I do want to talk about it. So, I guess I mentioned this theory. I mentioned things. I'm going by the wood. I think we could both going the wood that the last blog post with some weird like foreshadowing for a second season that will never happen.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of two possibilities. I guess if you take that wood, which is like either season 2 would start with like Valek alone, maybe an episode 2 where like he would solve a case or like follow up the plot and maybe reunite to get the new crew. Or like it would be to Lan's lands and Lan would be solving some mysteries with like maybe Jason or somebody new and then they meet Dalek again.
Yeah, that's like the two structural ways that would really work out, yeah.
Yeah, I think that if you look in this for like I know Freaky Links it's a show that surprisingly breaks structures, but I think if a second season was following up that blog post, that would be normally what you have. We would in some way. I'm gonna ask, do you think we'll get new characters for the cast?
Yeah, I would have hoped at least that they would like build out the crew.
Now, if I get Derek's Water, the ghost is now one of the members of Freaky Links.
Oh right, we have like the person that's following the ghost person would appear again, or whatever he is, and I guess we would learn more about like that company that's
legally distinct Monsanto.
Yeah, legally distinct Monsanto that tries to like do all kinds of supernatural shit and is involved with like Derek's brother. But yeah, that's pretty close to what I imagine. In my dream version, Derek would disappear and then there would be a whole season of like Lan and Jason making a new crew and like looking for Derek. And that would like be the JoJo level arc. Like where they go on a journey.
Yeah, we got Skunk Ape, Desert Squid.
What if they recruited the Desert Squid? That would be so next level.
I would love that. Imagine the Skunk Ape and like the Desert Squid. I love that.
Yeah, if they just became part of the Freaky Links too, if they had just the idea of adding an actual cryptid to the crew, would make this show so much better.
I would love like. This is like, I would love if they just added like in some like supernatural helper character. Like they technically have Derek's ghost bottle, but he does nothing. He literally does nothing.
Yeah, they're already like going in the direction of Scooby-Doo or Ghostbusters. Like, come on, lean into it. Give us some weirdo.
We got the white guy from the Harvest House. He's now here. We got who's more the Filipino Shadow Vampire. It's good now. That it's technically in the Freaky Links way still.
It goes through a redemption arc.
Yeah, we got Gunter. Gunter's also now part of the queue.
No, Gunter stays evil.
And now Creepy Clicks guy.
I wonder if Creepy Clicks guy could like get. Maybe he could like hatch a scheme with the company or something. Like he would have something to do to get more threatening because right now it's just like a funny gag that there's a site that does the same thing that Freaky Link does.
I guess my thing with like the company plot would be like, this is mostly how most of these type of episodes, most of these type of shows work. Like, so like the X-Files or like stuff like that. There's a bunch of shows that have a format of like episodic, but then there's an episode that's technically episodic also, but it's an episodic episode that has plot or lore, like X-Files does. And I'm guessing the idea of like, you would have the episodic stories that was just like nothing to do with the company, there's just like random ghosts, supernatural creatures, and then you have like them investigating cases that actually have to do with somehow the company being the fault of that. And then it would be like a breadcrumb trailer.
Yeah, it should be like a slow build up. Like in my dream version, they would also solve one episodic stories between like the search for Derek. Like they could go into some like chupacabras or some like Jersey Devil stuff.
Like I don't think like maybe it's just me, but
Mothman would be great if they had a Mothman episode.
Yeah, the Jersey Devil.
Yeah. There's some good ones. Maybe they go to Sleepy Hollow or some shit.
No. Listen to me. They go to Italy and they go find the Italian alien. I don't know if you remember the tweet. The Italian alien that just looks like Bomberman.
Okay, no.
Do you remember now that?
No.
That Italian alien tweet.
What?
I'm gonna have to find the Italian alien.
I completely forgot about that. Please, let's just move on, or we're gonna be stuck with the Italian alien for the next 5 minutes. I don't want to do this.
No, don't do it. Oh wow, no, Italian alien. Wow, no. This is good. Anyway, they should go to Portugal to meet the Portuguese ghost king. That's what should happen.
That would be weird, yeah. Sadly, there's not like much Swiss stuff. Maybe they would have to actually go like chase a dragon or some shit. I guess
that was the doll. I guess
that would destroy or they could go I don't want to go into the horny doll, but they could go seek out the horny doll because there's already a movie about it being haunted.
Yeah. But anyway, I think it will, like I was saying, I think looking like, I know a lot about like 2000s, like genre television, specific in America, like, there's like people normally just late when like not to cut out or don't listen to like a podcast, TV podcast, but like people when talking about like, there's this weird tendency sometimes like some American TV critics do, or like, they tend to present like serialized storytelling in TV as like an original thing from the 2010s when like it has existed since TV was a thing in Europe, even in America. But like I think specific with stuff like Freaky Links, it's like this specific set of like 2000s like genre television was so episodic that I imagine they into the support, but I imagine the episode of the week, master of the week was never gonna go away. At least that's what I think.
Yeah, I guess it would be like Supernatural, where they never totally leave the weird thing appears and they fight it pattern.
I guess like the thing is like, do you think like for our deal version of season 2, do you think would this season wrap up Freaky Links? Would it solve Monsanto? Would it solve Derek's water? Would it solve the weird guy that guy that says is Derek's water, who I think works for Monsanto?
I think at the end of season 2, we would have to find out something about like what Derek's brother's involvement in Monsanto was. Like maybe when they find, in my version, when they find Derek finally, Derek found out like what Monsanto did with the brother, and maybe it's something with them being twins. Like maybe try to harness the power of twins, like that movie we watched.
Yeah, like Zack and Cody, the last movie.
Yeah, because that's a genius writing thing, and that's why I think it should be reused.
Freaky Link season 2, they actually time travel to the 2010.
But like that's what I mean. Like in the blog and in the show, they set up the twin thing a lot.
Yeah.
And they even and the blog also goes into detail about like his astrological sign multiple times. So maybe there's some kind of weird astrology twin shit going on, and that's basically what the company tried to do with him. Basically, try to like turn him into some kind of Ubermensch or something. Who knows?
Like I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I always take like the twin stuff as more thematic. Like Dalek cares about his twin brother, like it's yin and yang, yin and yang, Ludo.
But it's a cheesy paranormal show, so why wouldn't they make the thematic stuff physical?
Yeah,
like that. That's the way it goes.
I guess my idea would be like season 2 will not be an ending, just get more about Monsanto. And like season 3, it's all Monsanto now. It's all Season 3 should. I don't think it should end after that. They just find out what's going on with the brother, like what happened to him, and maybe he still exists, like either inside a computer or some kind of weird form. Like maybe he has a new body. Yeah, like he's that floating head from Torna. Yeah, and like now he's working for Monsanto, or he's trying to stop Monsanto from within, like something like that. And then season 3 is all fighting Monsanto. It's like mostly lore episodes. I would say this: I really want to, like, my idealized version of season 2 would be like it starts with having a bunch of episodes that focus on like Lan and Jason without Derek. Mm-hmm. Because like they're following up this part of season 2 would be like just Lan trying to find Derek. So have like a bunch of episodes of them just going to a bunch of American places to find Derek. I mean, she could find Jason first because he also goes missing in the blog. Yeah. She finds Jason and then they go find Derek. Yeah, or maybe they first recruit 1 or 2 people. Yeah, we got the Desert Squid, the Scum Cave. Let's go. That would be amazing. I don't know. They meet. They recruit the random like telepathy medium from the Ghost episode. I think that was a very specific part of telepathy. Yeah. I don't think she just has telepathy in general. Yeah, like that's they recruit that person. They recruit they recruit the white. But that just sounds like the Avengers at this point. It just sounds like Paranormal Avengers. They recruit. Okay, so let's go. We got every single villain from the episode. They're now the good guys. So we have the mole people. So we have like the they pacified the mole people. Okay. The dinosaur. We have the dinosaur again. We have the ghost. But the dinosaur is dead. No, it's not. Wait, it could be an undead dinosaur now. Yeah. Like, let's just make this Space Jam toy. Let's just have everybody here, and they are just like are now part of the team. And then they fight Monsanto in like a final battle. No, season 2 is just them recruiting out the cryptids to fight Monsanto. They're basic. That really is the Avengers at this point. Like Lan is just like wearing an eye patch and like walking around in post-credit scenes of like the old episodes, like recruiting Desert Squid. Well, people, you want to? Yeah, we're fighting Monsanto, something you never heard of. I'm sure you have a motivation. No, they're the mole people. They are. No, she has to do a side quest for them because it's like Fallout New Vegas. She has to solve some problem for the mole people. Okay, now that we could hit musicians the 100 gags. Santana. Okay, Santana. We're starting to trail off. I think they were babies when this show was made. 100 gags were literally babies. Yes, because we could have the babies in the show. Just so like, look, this is 100 gags someday. No, this is Santana. They get Santana. Santana shows up, makes an ad for his cult, and it's on the website. It's just linked there. Wait, yeah. So, but yeah, I think I guess I'm asking you: do you want the cat? If there's new characters in season 2, would you want a new character? Like, there's no Kato.
I think they should like make their promise right and like have at least an Asian character. Like,
Yeah.
and I thought of like roles. Like, it would be cool if they had like somebody who like made gadgets or something.
Yeah.
And then maybe have somebody who is either a driver or some kind of, I don't know, stunt person. Some kind of interesting thing.
An interesting idea would be like, since Derek would not be in this first episode, so like, who would be the new leader? Would it be Lan or Jason?
I think Lan would go free Jason. Oh, Chloe, we can't forget about Chloe.
Yeah?
I think, yeah, it's hard to tell. Maybe they wouldn't even have a leader. Because their only interest is like saving the other two.
Non-hierarchical freaklings.
Yeah, they're suddenly anarchists because I'm writing them now.
Wow. Fucked up.
Fucked up how shit changes.
Yeah.
They had some kind of epiphany when Derek disappeared. No, to be serious, I think it would be cool to have like 1-2 more characters they recruit after they rescue Jason. And then have like one cryptid, like either Desert Squid or Skunky. Or maybe interchangeably, like have them come in certain episodes and help.
Yeah, I get, like, got them using like TV tropes language, but it'd be like good if like if the 4 characters became like a band of 5 characters. Because to feel like a world in a trap. So instead of just having like, here's the tech person, or here's the smart person, here's the skeptic, they add an extra wall. In terms of like characters to interact with, or like 2 more walls. Like
that's why I said somebody who's like a mechanic or something who like produces new gadgets or something, or maybe a scientist who can like analyze stuff.
Yeah,
like there's like, a lot of roles you can fit into that.
Well, you want a scientist? They should get the Rihanna, get Jeffrey Combs.
Oh my god, get Jeffrey Combs for a full season as a character. Would be amazing.
He's just the reanimator. It's just the reanimator now.
Yeah, he's just trying to like do stuff with corpses all the time, and they have to stop him. Like, no, don't do that, Jeffrey Combs.
He streamed character actors Jeffrey Combs. That will go.
So do you have any more like really important stuff you want to say about your dream conclusion?
No, I think we both agree on the same thing without being the jokes. It's just like, we both basically just want the show to give a second season to like, not be a definitive ending. Just like set up what's been not set up, like, go to the plot.
We don't even want an ending. It should just like continue.
Yeah, it's
like,
just like
they didn't even set up much.
Yeah, it's just like set up more, a combination of episodes and like lore.
Yeah, maybe have a third faction. Like, that's also interesting.
Actually do something with Derek's water and like, who's that guy again? That guy that says Derek's water? That
he's
like
Vince Elsing.
Yeah, the Helsing, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's like some kind of guide character supposed to be. I guess he would show up and like say cryptic nonsense. I'm okay with that. Like, I think that's actually pretty cool.
No, he joins the team. He's now part of the team.
But like, we don't even know if he's corporeal. Would they just have a ghost on the team, like with the Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
Would he just be flying around eating shit?
Yeah, he's the slime of the team.
Okay, we're digressing into jokes again.
It's almost 2 hours, so we need to actually talk about this. But yeah, I think we basically just do the same things. I think the most is just want the show to continue, basically.
Yeah.
And actually improve its writing.
If you're hearing this, Disney, you know now, this is all we ever wanted. I'm gonna forgive you for many things if you do have a freak link.
No. This is what to do. Listen.
Look, I watched Caligula. I'm gonna do a general amnesty if you do a second season.
No, listen. Here's the plan. Listen, Italian Mafia, if you listen to this, we need some money. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about the copyright. They're not gonna know this. Nobody cares.
We're gonna use the Italian mafia money to buy freaky links. Don't worry about it. It's gonna happen. If you try to kill us, we are actually ghosts. Don't worry, you cannot kill us.
Yeah, totally ghosts. Internet ghosts.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. Yeah. I just want to, but yeah, more fleshing out of things, more fleshing out of the cats, of course. I see Blunt doing something, Chloe doing something, Jason doing something, etc., etc. This is all Dream season. Okay, let's go. 5.
Okay. 5. No, 6 actually. No.
Overall thoughts on the music.
Yeah, I have the old version here. Okay, that's actually 6.
Overall thoughts on the music.
So yeah, I'm gonna keep that pretty short because I like some of the music. Some of it is pretty serviceable. Some of it is pretty okay. Some of it's Jump the Fuck Up, which is a banger. But overall, I gotta say, there wasn't a single song where I was like, wow, I have to add this to my rotation. This is really dope. Like, sadly, there wasn't like something where I'm like, oh, bad day, time to listen to like Freaky Link's soundtrack. Nah, that's not gonna happen.
I think the thing around this is, I think I'll say this as somebody that did the music corner for this. It's just the overall music is very interesting because like it's all part of like the show's like weird cross promotion, like multi-marketing stuff. So like it sometimes feels weird, but sometimes it feels like they're just there to like sell the product, and like it's very interesting because there's times where like they feel like it feels like the writers know they had to put the music to the product, so sometimes it makes sense thematically and stuff like that. Stuff like the soundtrack to like the hip hop episode and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't think the implementation of the music is bad or that the music isn't like fitting off. It's more like the music on its own isn't a lot of music that I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think overall the music is just. Like outside the music, there's some bangers, there's some not, there's some horror, there's a Russian guy, there's guy to cosplay guy with racist Russian wife, the classic, the icon. We always remember you, guy with racist Russian
the lovable
wife.
favorite, the fan favorite.
But yeah, besides that, I think it's interesting. I'll say that I do think this is interesting.
It's not uninteresting. That's not the issue. Yeah, it has a lot of diversity for like stuff that's mostly promotion for a label.
It's just like I agree with you. There's just not a lot to say. Like I do not ever like I listen to some of these bands, but I never specifically put in the songs they have in Freak Links. Like I'm never just gonna go, yeah, let me just put in the Word Crisis song. That wasn't Freaky Links because like I like Word Crisis. Sometimes listen to them. I'm not gonna specifically look out for one of their songs because it wasn't Freaky Links.
There's like that one song from that jazz hip hop group that I would listen to again. And then there's my favorite song in the show, which is the yodel song at the end of Desert Squid.
Yeah, very good.
That's just because it's very fitting for the situation.
Yeah, like again, I think like the music is fine. I just think it's very much one of those things where like it's just like with the site, it's interesting on its own, but it's not working as it. I do not want to buy this product, well, because I cannot buy it, but because I don't want to buy it, even if I could.
Yeah, it didn't succeed at the promotional aspect that hard, to be honest.
But yeah, overall, I think the music's fine. I think overall it was fine. There's a very good diverse mix of like weirdos and like known people.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I definitely didn't hate it. Like I said, a lot of it is okay or serviceable. And some of it is good. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thoughts on the show?
So, as a show overall, what do we think of Freaky Links?
Fantastic show, good show.
Yeah, this is a banger. Banger of a show.
genuinely and interesting, like as I said, it's genuinely and interesting. It's very much of its time, but also ahead of its time, honestly.
Yeah,
Genuinely
yeah,
often very clever, very interesting. It feels very much like a bunch of people trying to. It feels like very much a bunch of people trying to like do what they had the bad. They had a bad soul that was had a bunch of issues, but they somehow managed to make it work. The cats are charismatic. The writing can be genuinely clever, and sometimes have actual social commentary and be biting. Even when it's boring, I can just it's the episodes are not boring enough for me. I can just watch the good stuff and still be entertained because it certainly has a lot of promise.
yeah, yeah. I agree. There isn't much of like that era of TV. I'm like, oh, I want to revisit that. Like, where at least from like American like shows like that. But like with Freaky Links, that's something like every couple of years, I'm probably gonna rewatch some of those episodes because like they're really good.
Yeah, I think there's good TV from the set. Just like none of it comes from Fox or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. This is just this very peculiar brand that doesn't exist anywhere else. Like Freaky Legs is unique.
Yeah, I think like I think I would honestly rank this with some of my other favorites from the 2000s, like Wonderfalls, like That Way Like Me, like stuff like that. Like this is genuinely very interesting, pulls above its weight, and like I can rewatch this. I'm probably gonna rewatch like on my own time. There's Squid some days when I'm tired or bored because it's a fun episode for so I like it.
Yeah. So, if anything, this shows that looking for very obscure media can sometimes reap some rewards, some really good rewards.
Turns out when you look at the weird stuff, you can find some good stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like I really like this because like everybody that probably listens to me knows about this. Like I love obscure media, I love weird media. And this shows us like this is just a weird thing that people forgot about. But once you dig in, once you watch it, it's so flawed, so incredibly bizarre, but also really interesting when you look above it from its history, from its writing, from its everything. Honestly, it's
Yeah.
very good. Like, listen, if you are listening to this podcast, you probably know the message, but please just watch this. Please just watch this. Download the episodes before they get taken down.
Yeah,
Never,
before
but
Disney comes, the harvester.
they technically have the rights to them somehow.
Yeah, and if you're at Disney, please make it
uh,
happen.
put this in Disney Plus, please. Put this in
It
Disney
can even
Plus.
yeah, it can even be a kid show. I don't care at this point. Like anything. Except
Put
NFTs. If you do NFTs, I will become maybe violent in Minecraft.
put Freaky Links in the newest Avengers movie. Put it. Have a cameo by Derek. I don't know.
Yeah, just anything at this point. Really.
Like this is like just wonderful. Like I mentioned, me, Ludo, was just like some other friends of ours. That's how it was, and we had just a blast. It was so fun, even when it was bad. We just had so much fun riffing on it.
Yeah, we watched random shows and we didn't watch many episodes of most of them, but we watched all of Freaky Links. So that's gotta tell you something about it. It kept us going.
It gave us the energy, the freaky energy.
Yeah, the monster freaks. The hurdy-gurdy monster freaks.
Anyway, do you want to end us now? Do you have anything else to say?
Thanks everybody for listening. We might be back in the future, some other new project. Don't forget to support Alice at her Patreon.
Alice Rule of What on YouTube, Alice Rule of What 1 on Twitter, Alice Rule of What on Twitch. I might be streaming today, I don't know. Support me, give me money, please. Help me buy a new cell, I guess. Anyway,
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for everything. Bye.
You're still here? It's over. Go
Go home. Go.